Breaking news as we start the Fast 15. A very sad day for the Mesa Police Department and law enforcement across the state. An officer was killed by a wrong-way driver overnight. We have team coverage continuing for you this morning as you just wake up. ABC 15's Nick Van Zant near the scene of that crash at US 60. But let's start with Angie Holdsworth, who is at the hospital where the officer passed away. Angie, what do we know this morning? Just a sad day.
It really is, and we just heard from the police chief just a short time ago here on ABC 15, and we've been tweeting out some information here about this officer. 32-year-old Brandon Mendoza is the one who was killed in this very tragic crash. Obviously something that's very much affecting the officers here. The police chief very emotional when he gave his statement.
This job is absolutely incredibly dangerous at times, and for Brandon to be killed on his way home from work just is something that's hard for all of us to struggle with. We all kind of think once we get in our own car and we get to head home that we're good for that day, and Brandon didn't make it home.
And the chief goes on to explain and describe the officer as a very professional officer, one that's almost kind of a model officer, the ones you want to have on your department, very dedicated to his job. They consider him a veteran officer, someone who's very experienced as well. And we do understand that he has a lot of family who lives here in the area. A lot of his relatives are obviously here at the hospital right now as this news is coming down. And right now, the thoughts and prayers with them at this very difficult time. Back to you, Dan and Connie.
All right, Angie, thank you very much for that report. We'll have more details throughout the morning, of course.
DPS knew there was a problem early on with the driver who is the one responsible for this. Let's get out to Nick Van Zant and find out how this all played out.
Well, this all played out over miles and miles, all the way really across the entire East Valley at one point. It ended a little bit right behind me on one of these off-ramps right there, the westbound HOV off-ramp, the one that you're looking at to your left. And it started, though, miles away from here at 101 and Cactus. That's when DPS says they first got reports of a wrong-way driver heading the wrong way on the 101. Now, they drove all the way up the 101 until it connects with 50, got on 51, then went the wrong way on 51. It was there where DPS officers tried to stop this vehicle with an intercept. That was not successful, even though they tried to pull a car right out in front of it. It didn't work, though. The driver kept going and then got on I-10 and went the wrong way on I-10. And that's where this crash happened. As they were trying to transition onto 60, the police officer's off-duty vehicle crashed right into this other car on that off-ramp. There's really, you've been on one of these HOV ramps, you know there's nowhere to go. There's no way you can stop or slow down really enough to make a difference, according to police officers. And that's when this crash happened. The person who was driving the car, they were killed in a fire that resulted because of this crash. We asked DPS, why didn't you take more action? Why didn't you try to pursue this vehicle? They say that it was just too dangerous of a situation. They do not pursue wrong-way drivers. That's what they're telling us at this point, but this still is under investigation. Dan and Connie, back to you.